when General Conference opened, there was a couple of meetings that happened fairly early on. They were convened by one of the bishops. And so, we began to talk about, so what is the answer here? Now, I will tell you, for 3 years, I have been fundamentally opposed to any kind of division in the church. I have spoken against it. I have traveled thousands of miles to try to not see this happen. And what began to change for me was watching, first of all, Rule 44. We spent a day and a half debating whether we could have meaningful Christian conversation about this, because it was a proxy for these other issues. So if it was approved, then that meant that we gave a little bit of leeway to the people who are more progressive. Well, we don't want to do that. And we think we don't trust each other, so we don't trust that the 6 people who are ultimately going to make the decisions to bring back to us, or make the recommendations to bring back to us, we don't really trust them, and we don't trust the 60 people who appoint the 6 people. And so there's such a lack of trust, and that's true on both sides, that we couldn't pass the ability to sit around tables and have conversations. So then we go into legislative committees. I think people thought, the moderates and progressives thought, okay, we're going to see a little bit of movement that allows some tension to be relieved in the system. But instead, the votes continued to be for things that were even more regressive than what we've had in the past. So the conversation began to be, what if a special commission was appointed by this General Conference, that the bishops recommended this, and the General Conference appointed a special commission whose job would be to take the next 2 years and develop a plan for, and this will be my language, not everybody else's language, a plan for reordering the life of the people called Methodists in the United Methodist Church. That plan for reordering would create, out of one United Methodist Church, potentially 3 new United Methodist churches. And one would be the conservative United Methodist Church. One would be a church for those who are progressive, who only want to be in a church with people who are progressive and will allow nothing less than full inclusion on everything. And for everybody, in other words, that every pastor needs to be doing same-gender weddings. Every pastor, every church needs to host same-gender weddings. So if that's where you are and you say that's a justice issue and we really can't be with other people who are not like us on this. And then a church for what I perceive to be the vast majority of United Methodists, which are somewhere in the middle. And so then I'm sitting in these meetings and I'm like, I feel like I want to throw up when I'm thinking about this. And I'm also thinking, I don't really see any other way that we're ever going to break past the gridlock. Then I begin to think, okay, what would happen if you could have a new church start with the denomination? What would happen if we could come back and say, we're not just going to let these other people go, we're going to rebirth the bigger, larger body of United Methodists? What would happen if we rebirthed that and we wrote a brand new book of discipline? I thought, now that I could get excited about. I mean, despite the fact that I grieve this sort of losing, I could get excited if we could reorganize and reorder our denomination and start fresh. And I think, most United Methodist churches would be in that middle who would want to do that. Is any of this possible? I have no idea. I give it a 40% chance of passing General Conference to even form the commission. In 2 years, we would have a special called General Conference for probably 3 days in which the plan or plans would be laid out and the General Conference would vote. And it's entirely possible that they could vote to dissolve the United Methodist Church as we know it and the next day reopen under new management, or maybe not new management, but something new, 3 different something news. So like I said, I don't even think it's likely that it will pass, but it's possible that it would pass. And the reason why it would pass is because people are increasingly frustrated and feel like there is no way out. We're stuck. And it might pass because you have people, leaders on the left, center, and right who are saying, we support this. It's not our will, but we support it.